Subscribe to this channel now and become a Voyager. As a Voyager, you qualify for a 20% discount when you book your stay with Crawford's Beach Lodge this tourism month. Book your stay now by dialing 043 738 5000 or 063 422 2673. This episode is proudly brought to you by Crawford's Beach Lodge, the star of the Wild Coast.
Salva? Okay. Yeah. Welcome to another special episode of the Tourism Podcast. Today on the podcast, we're doing something that I've been wanting to do, by the way. Our visitor on today's podcast, what is funny enough is that akayazi yena ukuba nda introduce kuye, I think 2 years back, by a friend of mine, Ukwanita Pigini. Yes.
Yeah.
That introduced Ukwanita Pigini, but by that time, Kwaku busy. Kwaku busy. Izinto zazingahlangani. Yabo zamubamba phana pha. So ladies and gentlemen, namhlanje sino Mr. Zingce Arts Festival himself. Ndizamcela as introduce ngokwakhe because andifuni xa introduce ndibethe ezantsi kwengca. Mhlekazi siyakwamkela.
Mhlekazi molo Nkosi guys for having me kule podcast. Mina ngitshepo ngegama. Mfana Mhlatuzana. Originally from Enqombolo.
Okay.
But I'm currently based at Joburg. And as people would like to refer to me Mr. Zingce, because there's a project that we are doing right now that we are spearheading up in East London. But otherwise, guys, I'm really, really honored to be on your podcast namhlanje.
Yeah, Mhlekazi le anfuna uxoxa. This interview was difficult for us to hold it down.
Why is that so?
I don't know. Now you've been trying to get hold of me. That time the busy, up and down. But I thought, you know what? We must do it.
No, listen, and I was told by Lethabo to say, but no, there is this particular podcast that we have to do. And I think when I was introduced to you, I think last year, right? And then afterwards, yes, I knew, but no, there is a podcast that is at hand, and there is some form of relationship that we have to establish with you. So it was a must, the podcast. Now, we're very busy organizing this, as you know, but it's been 2 weeks' time. So we had to, though, make sure South can plunge in the podcast. And like I said, we are honored.
Yeah, kuyanyanzeleka. So Mhlekazi, masibuyele umva kancinci before singene kuZingce. Xa bethetha ngawe bazawuthi usukaphi, ungubani, ufikela kule ndawo sikuyo.
Okay, but I always, a question like this, I always try to address it within the space, within the arts.
Okay.
Background it's more business and marketing.
Okay.
So the arts form is a passion. Right. So with that said, one was involved. As I said, I'm based in Joburg. So predominantly, the project which I was involved in within the arts was in Joburg. But the biggest one that we did was called the Fashion Capital. There's a place called Fashion Capital. My involvement there, as I said, initially was in marketing. But in 2 years' time, we were given the opportunity to actually spearhead the project, whereby I was made the executive director of the project. So it was predominantly fashion. But we also saw the need and the gap to involve into the arts. So into the arts and fashion from that side was the core of our projects, for that matter. So with that, one started working very diligently and started gaining attraction and interest within the space here arts as much as I say, but it was a fashion project. But ultimately, there was a dominance of the arts, if one should say so. And that on its own gave birth to the concept that we know today as Zingce Arts Festival. Funny enough, Zingce is probably the concept on its own should be 7 years old, I think.
Okay.
So initially we tried to do it at Joburg. And I think for 3 years, but it didn't work. We didn't even execute it. By me saying it didn't work, it didn't even take off. And then someone said, take it home. You know, and by that time I had a lot of connection and friends in terms of we are Zinda, Apemont.
Okay.
So for me, is as I say, I'm very combo, a Transkei by birth. But then I wanted somewhere whereby it could be central, but at the same time it could be able to both attract abantu versus Lalin per se, and cover the space that is not being that's not occupied in terms of enabling them to gain resources and activities that otherwise they wouldn't gain within the space that they find themselves within, and then at the same time also collaborating nabantu bakulecala. And by kulecala I mean your urban and your townships and the different dynamics of that come with that. So for us to initiate it and to have it, Monty was the best option that we had.
Okay.
And just to give you background, guys, guys, I don't like talking too much about myself.
About the project at hand.
Projects at hand, because I'm not the main attraction here. The project at hand is the main attraction. Okay. That's why I always cover the job-related aspect of myself. So with that said, we launched Zingce during 2021. It was during Elahleni COVID. So it was a very difficult task. Funny enough, at the time, as we all knew, there were restrictions, and there was no major festival that was supposed to happen. I guess by the grace of God, Nezinyanya, we're able to have Zingce. To an extent whereby the national department was even shocked, but there is a festival happening during this time, that they flew down to Elahleni because we had the event up at Buffalo Club. So they flew down to see what is this Zingce that it was able to be granted permission to happen, and why was it granted permission to happen, but more importantly, is it that the event itself, will we be able to honor the laws at hand,
the restriction
laws? Yes, guys. And when they came through, they saw, but no, everything that was in question and more we had covered. They were really actually impressed. I don't want to mention the gentleman by name, but then he came down. And funny enough, we were supposed to be there for at least 5 minutes to see by Yonkinto right now, but ended up staying for 40 minutes or so, enjoying the activities of the day. So as much as there were restrictions, as much as there was a first installment of Zingce, the beauty about it is that to the capacity that we were trying to initiate it, we deemed it as a success. Right. The following year was 2022, which was last year. Beauty about last year was that we managed to partner up Mayor's Motors, and they opened their doors for us to have the event with Mayor's Motors. Something that actually crosses my mind as we speak. Every year Zingce has Zingce has a theme. The theme for the first one was Zingce Africa, because we introduced the concept and say, let's take pride in who we are as Africans. And hence the theme. Last year's theme was Ubumbano. So the theme, they keep on building on top of each other. So the first time Zingce, and the second time around, we are uniting. But then there's a common thread with all the Zingce project, but beyond Zingce project, as people within this space, I think that's something we can all attest to. There's a common thread that every time a project like that happens, that sometimes it seems impossible to take place, but it happens. It happens because of collaborations. So this year we are acknowledging, but no, none of these things happen. Yes, we believe by it happening by the grace of God in Nyanya, but it didn't happen just purely because of that. They enable certain things to happen in order for Zingce to take place, which in this case was collaborations. So if theme for Tina this year, in Swan, sorry, nearly lost me there. So the theme for Tina this year in Swan, and one aspect of it is this podcast over here. You know what I mean? So in Swan, which is taking place right now, because no man is an island, no project is an island, no project can take place without the assistance of, and that's what Zingce is about. Yes, Zingce takes place during September. I always say this about Zingce, and I feel like this is the first thing that I need to touch on when it comes to Zingce, because it's very important to us as our ethos as well. One thing about Zingce, yes, Zingce is to basically nguni. I wouldn't say I'd fully limit kuXhosa because nguni kuzingca as to take pride on who you are. So subsequently it makes sense for the event to take place during September because September is Heritage Month, and we're very lucky this year for the event to take place on the 24th of September, it being Heritage Day. But with that said, one thing we always say about Uzingca, we do not want to limit it to defined by heritage. Yes, Uzingca, the principal definition of Uzingca, or the backbone of Uzingca, is a platform where aspiring artists are given a chance to exhibit and hopefully trade within their work that actually speaks of their heritage and culture and how they project it through the arts. So Uzingca is a mouthpiece of what? Arts, heritage, and culture. So we fuse the three, like another project for that matter, by the way, that would do that, would have such a platform. But the umehluko ngathi is that Uzingca is built on top of five artistic pillars. The first pillar is visual arts. Second pillar, performing arts. Third pillar is literature. Fourth pillar is digital arts, and the fifth pillar is applied arts. So when you talk about applied arts, you talk about the other elements of the arts that are not part of the formation pillars. But one of our strongest and a very integral part of our management strategy is the growth of digital arts. To an extent whereby, I will never forget this date because it's in my head, and that's when it was concluded. On the 18th of April, we had a meeting, but it was a virtual meeting, with a professor from Mhlatuzana. Mr. Reed is a professor from Wits Art School and is the head of digital arts. So we told him about Uzingca as a project. And by the way, Uzingca as a project festival doesn't operate in isolation. There are other projects that actually we want to initiate that support them. So we told him about the whole picture of what we're trying to do through Uzingca as a project, as we refer to them. He was very impressed, and then with that said, he said, look, because of what you guys are telling me, I'd actually like to get involved, but on a consultative basis. So with the time of growth in Uzingca and time of resources, we're going to be seeing a lot of the digital arts aspect of Uzingca, because that's what Uzingca wanted to be known for. Because reality is, as I said, from my side, background, I'm in business, and then arts is a love and passion. So we're all knowing, but we are moving. If you are not there, we actually are there right now when it comes to fourth industrial revolution. You know what I mean? And then there's also now the matter of an urgency of us adopting to AI, right? So as much as we appreciate and love and cherish the arts as a physical doors that you can touch, but there's an element of the sense of urgency of also transferring and transforming the arts into digital space. So that is, if anyone had to ask, but okay, we see that there's arts festivals out there, and then there's Uzingca. What is the difference between Uzingca and other arts festivals? Maybe later on. But can I just do before? By the time we done there, a lot of things have been covered, you know. So with that said, yes, if there's a difference between Tina and any other arts festivals out there, which we also respect, by the way, we honor, because there's a lot of arts festivals that were inspiration to who we are today, and there's still an inspiration and aspiration to attain with the growth of Uzingca. But then Tina, if there's our identity, is that element of saying, yes, we are a platform that actually focuses a lot on up and coming aspiring artists, that we create a platform that always use okay, maybe not even mention names, but there's people today who are very established within the art space, but then we only know them because they're established today. But there was a gap between the unknown, or when they were known, and the unknown. At that time, who was actually just focusing on them and using all their resources to make sure that they get to a space that they are today, like the people who create space for them are today, are focusing those resources. So that was our primary objective. But whatever resources, limited or otherwise, we have, we want to focus them solely, and as much as there's resources for the ones which are up there to the ones when they're coming up. So by the time the person is up there, he's equipped enough to understand where they are in the sense of professionalism and every other thing, every other aspect of Elahleni, of the business within the arts. right? So with that said, there's one element of Zingce, but the primary objective is to acquire enough resources and as many resources to be able to say, yes, we appreciate and treasure the arts as a attainable but then at the same time let us work towards utilizing the arts within any space, by the way. So it doesn't have to be a metropolitan place in order for the arts to be digitalized, and successful for that matter. To be digitalized and successful, we need to find the space whereby, or find ourselves in a space whereby any form of place, irrespective of Lethabo background, we are able to infiltrate a digitalization of the arts within those spaces. Because reality is, failure to do such, like any other business, by the way, it was going to be very detrimental to the arts as a sector. Because a lot of these spaces, they're finding themselves digitalizing the arts, or not the arts, I mean, they're digitalizing their processes, operations, and everything that comes with them. Everything that comes with their operations, whereby the arts can go, we find ourselves in a space whereby we are still talking about the sustainability of the arts, but then yet we are not talking about the digitalization of the arts. So the sustainability of the arts relies a lot on the digitalization aspect of it, in order for it to be able to say, we'll figure in a space whereby we're talking about AI and other related topics, arts now, so find comfort within those spaces. Puti, I think I've said it more than enough. I think I'm going to cross over.
Yeah, that was an intro. that was an intro up to a point where you've covered izinto ezininzi ebendisithi ndizazibuza. By the way, kuba this is a space that I love and a space that I understand. I've been operating it for a very long time. There will always going to be a question.
Of course.
Because at the end of the day, the reason why we are having this conversation, Kukuba, we want to know Zingce and we want to know the person
behind.
Yes. As much as you are trying to run away,
I am going to run away.
As much as you are trying to run away from exposing who you are, what is important is that the personality of the project and your personality, one way or the other,
they have to be aligned.
They have to be aligned. Yes. What keeps you grounded, and how did you cross from business to arts?
The space. Can I tell you something?
Just a straight one.
A straight one. No, I'm not going to beat around the bushes. But I feel like there's no answer that can come out and it's just straightforward without any substance or without any structure or support.
Okay.
The reason I'm saying this is, as I said earlier on, one used to work in a project, Joburg, within the fashion space. But now the thing about it, one of the biggest elements, and I always say this, of the success of what we used to do was because it was teamwork. I do not believe that I am who I am without the support of the people that I work with. So now that's why I never want to talk about myself. And I do not even the title of Ananko Mr. Zingce. There's no such thing as a Mr. Zingce. Zingce is a team effort. Zingce is where it is today because of teamwork. Zingce is where it is because of collaborations. You know about the next year, God willing, it's about group work. You know what I mean? Because I strongly believe in that. So I cannot truly talk about myself without mentioning the contribution of the team. So what keeps me grounded is the fact that there's always someone within the team that we're working with, that not even one person per se, our individual characters, because we contribute what we contribute and our strength in that matter, for that matter, that alone keeps us grounded, right? There's one thing we always say, class figure with team meetings, class realizing, in case there's someone new in the team. One thing that I always try to emphasize to new members is that your strength is my weakness. My strength is your weakness. So let us not clash on top of that. Do you know what I mean? One of the things I always also mention, which everyone I work with, is I cannot micromanage, because I believe about umtu na strength sakhe. And if umtu na strength sakhe and they've afforded us sharing their talent of their strength within the team, they should be allowed and the free will and the carte blanche to move as per structure of whatever project we're working with.
Okay.
So if there's one thing to, as you say, I mustn't beat around the bushes, but I felt like I had to say that. If there's one thing that keeps us grounded, on a personal level, right, I'll say my belief. Right? I keep on mentioning two things every time I talk. But there's Tshepo in my life, and there's Nyaniso. So my personal belief keeps me grounded. But more importantly, my family structures keeps me grounded. But when it comes to work, one thing that will always, and one will never survive without, is the assistance and the collaboration of the team effort. That on its own keeps the entire project grounded. There's this brand today, and there's everything that you see upon this because of the group work.
It's because of the teamwork. Oh, okay.
And just before you go on, to take a transition. Transition can go, hey, no, I hope I'm not stepping on toes here and making it as if it's my podcast. But with that said, the transition it was easy. Like I said, my love is business. Right, I'm a business person by psyche, by a way I approach it, right? But I'm very passionate about the arts. The arts is who I am, is what I breathe, is what I do on a daily basis. As much as I've never, before growing up, it is never something that was evident. You know, I'm a creative person. I'm not an artist. So the creative aspect of me pushes me or enables me to even appreciate the arts, irrespective of the background of the arts or the art form, so easily. So when I come with my character of being business-minded and say, look, an artist who is very, very talented as an artist, right? And then they see something called the showbiz. Like, okay, look, can I please, Doza, there's a project I'm working on and I'd like to get you involved. Quotation. What is the difference between quotation and invoice? Because I'm no, sisi, or booty. A quotation is when you want to find out your price by Indon, and then if you agree upon that price, then you follow it up
with an invoice.
So you see the business aspect of me coming to the picture. So there's so many holes like that, a lot of holes. I just told you a basic concept in business that as a business person, one is expected to understand. Do you know what I mean? So you come with that mentality, you come with that insight, and other people that are surrounding you with different aspects of business, and then you bring that to the art space. So as much as you're creating a platform for artists to be able to introduce that work to the mainstream market, but then you always remind them, but it's called the showbiz for a reason. That's why the show is very small and the biz is huge. It's big business. Do you know what I mean? Failure to understand the biz aspect of things is failure to actually establish, attain, and sustain your career. That's what I always say.
Agreed. Yeah, okay. You decided to leave your rural area where you come from. Waza Emonti, which is under Buffalo City Metropolitan Municipality. How was your reception at Buffalo City?
It was very nice. It was very nice. It was, look, Buffalo City, if there's one thing that I love, because there's something at the back of my mind. Please people don't get it said, don't take it the wrong way. If there's one thing that I loved about the people of Buffalo City is the warmth.
Okay.
Right? Is the warmth and the reception of what Zingce was. Zingce was understood from day one. I guess not to blow one's horn is because we were able to articulate it from day one. If there's one thing that we always articulate about Zingce as a team is that it's growing. It's an ongoing effort. When we got here, we told them the reality of who we are, at what point we are, and how limited, close to nothing, our resources was then. But based on what we're trying to build, based on the vision that we showed the people, especially artists, this is what we're trying to achieve. There is no love that I've ever received when it comes to a project such as Zingce that I received as like Upper Emont. And there's no love as a team and support that we got, especially from artists, that we got as a team from artists. So if there's anything, Zingce, and I always tell them this, the artists every time, especially artists that have been involved in Zingce from day one. There was a time we were sitting and there was a stage, there were lights, and Zingce was happening the first year. I think I was sitting with a number of artists, 5 or 6. There's one thing that I mentioned when you saw the stage lighting up and performance was happening. I said to them, I told them about Zingce is happening. That stage is occupied because of you guys. Tina, we had no resources to sustain or to even bring you guys to this level that you agreed to be able to to partner in this project with the limited resources that we have. So if there's any component of Zingce that you need to understand, one of the most important commodities when it comes to Zingce, and I say commodities in business, by the way, or assets, is the artist. The team members might be the backbone behind Zingce, the structure of making Zingce happen, but the artists are the heartbeat of Zingce. There is no Zingce, Monty, or anywhere else that Zingce will go without the artist.
Without the artist.
We value the artist more than anybody else. That's why we always try to remain true with the artists. We always try to be very, very transparent with the artists. You know. Obviously, there's glitches, but then yes, we try the best that we can. But then if there's one thing that we always say about the most important component of Zingce is artists. Till today, we still got the same support and even further support from the artists when it comes to Zingce.
Wow. That means the concept is being well received.
It was well received, honestly, especially, and I still maintain, especially when it comes to the artists. It's only now that we're tapping into a market whereby we're trying to grow because of the structures of this particular one. But it's always been an artist-driven event, and we've always loved that about it, because we knew about if we can be part of the family of the artist, then it's going to become easier to be able to maneuver within the space of the arts, because they are the arts. You cannot do anything without appreciating the artist. I on a personal level, I learned that just dealing within the fashion space. You've got models, and then you've got designers. The designers in that case might be the backbone of the industry, but the models are the heart.
They are the heart
of Mhlatuzana. Because as a designer, I can come up with a creation that will take the world by storm. Right, but then I need, it's like a business.
You need product, a model.
You've got distribution, and you've got the market, right? So you've got the product as a designer, but if no distribution, the market will never know about it.
Exactly.
And yes, you could be arrogant and say, no, I can use Mhlatuzana in
mannequins.
But I always say one thing about models. When it comes to models are mannequins which are alive. So it's one thing you'll never tell a mannequin is what to do. A mannequin, you will have to adjust your garment according to the shape of a mannequin. But then when it comes to a model and as a creator of a garment, as I can actually I can transfer the concept of what exactly is it that I like to attain through my creation. And the model will be able to translate it to the people the way you want it, and not the way a mannequin can. So that's why I keep on saying, but models are the heartbeat of the fashion industry. People that I used to work with, I used to tell them that don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You guys are the heartbeat of this industry.
Yeah.
As much as artists are the heartbeat. They're carrying the festival.
The passion is written all over. It's written all over your face. Now that brings me to my next question. How did government, specifically the municipality as a Buffalo City, received you and the concept?
Okay, on a personal level, I had a number of meetings in the government, right? We talk about the different divisions that are supportive of the arts. Yes, they were very open to talks, but at the same time, of course, like any other business, no one really puts a lot of resources when it comes to concepts. They want to see first, itini into, are you able to sustain? Because in business, like any other form of economic structures, a lot of people have ideas, but then executing it is one thing. I mean, you by any means, you even say it took you a while, it took you the effort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But because we all have ideas, now I want to start a podcast. But then do you know what it takes? The resilience, the understanding, the ups and downs. I want to quit today because I say But to wake up tomorrow and say, no, this is my passion. I want to carry on with it. So those are things that differentiate between umtu ofuna into and umtu oyenza into yenzek. Do you know what I mean? So I think now on that level it was that. But lucky enough, on the same year, we met the former CEO of ECPEC, seeing what was happening. So I don't want to go into the details per se, but then at the end of the day, the conversation was very fruitful, because he told us about the support that structures such as ECPEC. ECPEC is the Eastern Cape Provincial Arts and Culture Council. So ECPEC and Gogo told us about the supportive structures that are there within ECPEC. So, and she told us about the days that are available in terms of us to submit, so that we could be also privy to such structures, So with that said, we did, after the first we had the content to be able to submit to
AgPack.
Avenues such as AgPack, and lucky enough we were granted.
Good.
Yes. So I can proudly say, but the second Zingce was brought to you proudly by the Eastern Cape Provincial Arts and Culture Council, also known as AgPack.
That means Zingce is viable.
It's as a concept, as a platform that wants to achieve what it wants to achieve. It's a very viable effort. Apple, we believe in it. I believe in it, and that's why we'll never stop what we're doing, because we believe in the concept. Very viable concept, as you say.
Okay. So now let's cut to the chase. What is the benefit of these artists that are participating in this beautiful concept?
Platform? That is a very important question, because one can come in and say, artists are very a heartbeat of the lens of Zingce. Can I tell you something? But one does not look at Uzi, and I'm not trying to deviate, by the way, and are you a politician? I want to show you about how instrumental artists are and how beneficiary such platforms are. Sorry. So from the first Zingce, there's artists that we worked with, right? That having such conversation, they saw the dynamics of what we bring to the table as Zingce. To a certain extent, but some of them, one or two that I can think of right now, were brought on board for the second one as part of the manager of the organizing team. And then from last year, one or two as well were brought on board to be part of the organizing team this year. In fact, there's an artist that we met with called Platform. We are also saying, but there's also other avenues that one can get involved with. I can say I'm passionate about the arts, as I put it. But I know, but I'm not I'm the last person who should be singing. DJing, I've tried, it doesn't work. It's not me. As much as I love music, but I know that I cannot DJ. But now how do I get involved within the arts without me stepping on toes of other people who are actually talented for those spaces? We find ourselves within the spaces. So there's a lot of things that a lot of ways that you can get involved within what you're passionate about without necessarily doing things that could take away from people who deserve them at the time. So we're also doing that. And I say that with confidence that, as I say, but they're involved on an artistry level, but no, man, I can see that you're passionate about the arts, and I can see where you're trying to go with this. But don't you want to also get involved on this level, because we can see, but you are multi-talented in that level, and chances are you probably find comfort within being this space, aside from being in the front of the mic. So we have created such spaces, and in other cases, there's one or two artists, it's a group actually, and an artist that we've also helped on a business level in terms of registration of the company, in terms of paperwork, in terms of helping it into the net documentation, whether it's profiling, whether it's... So those are the extent of what Zingce does. Yes, on that day we celebrate the arts, but then what happens thereafter? Then what happens before that? So those are the projects that I talk about when I say Zingce Arts projects that are collaboration. So we try to approach the arts, we try to approach everything about the arts with business aspect of it holistically.
Okay. I see. Now, as Zingce is a collaborative effort, I see that we have two people that are here. Yes. What are their roles before we can have them one by one? Have one to come in and
come here. Yes. You're gonna be introduced to Putipa, who is saying he's not coming, he should be coming. He's the operations manager, so everything operational aspect of Zingce deals now with Nyaniso. Nyaniso clean.
Right. Nyaniso
cleanwa.
Nyaniso cleanwa. I'm on there. Hey, I've been in this space for a small world. Nyaniso cleanwa. Ilaplam. Is it your brother? Small world. Okay.
As I said, is operational aspect of things, and then Lethabo. Lethabo is involved within the marketing and especially social media spaces of Elahleni of Zingce, but more importantly, is also involved within the movement or the when it comes to there's a word I'm looking for, but it's not coming. Organizing of volunteers organizing of floor operations.
Groundwork.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Groundwork.
The groundwork aspect of things. She's brilliant. You know what I mean? I've worked with a lot of people, especially coming to Zingce. I've never seen anyone execute and basically deliberate what she does in terms of organizing skills, in terms of making sure everything is ready. I mean, this is happening because of her. Tell you how efficient she is and how good she is in that aspect. You know what I mean? So for me, yes, she was Lethabo Gugwana. Na uzuzapha kule studio sichisayo and she shares ilentuzana zakhe aspect of Zingce. So we've got that, as I said, ubhuti ngapha Nyaniso xinwa. Operational is something in business you cannot even, as long as you understand business, you understand what operational is.
Cannot operate.
You cannot even build a structure without operational.
No.
But you cannot even put it in a space whereby it up. So ubhuti knows I tell about to what extent it goes to.
Okay.
And I also believe about Lethabo Gugwana
as well.
Explain that.
As well. Yes, it's good to see projects is cooler with teams and in effort, because abantu bacimba fama kululu zenze zinto. It's not easy, and you cannot do them alone.
Of course,
you cannot do them alone. For instance, with this podcast, there is Jola. Jola is behind the camera on this. It's behind the camera on this episode.
Okay.
But what we are doing is that every month we're dropping 4 episodes.
Okay.
From the 4 episodes that we're dropping 2 with guests, and then 2 where it's us dissecting what happened to that. Like for instance, this one drops Thursday, and then the following one we sit down, we look at what did we achieve with this one. Did we meet what we're supposed to do? So he sits down now on the chair. We talk, we discuss. And then as this was growing, this idea, I thought about it in Dilele this other day, and then I shared it with my wife. Then she was my girlfriend.
Nice.
And now, as we are moving forward, she's much more involved. She's one of the executive producers of this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we make sure that this platform grows.
Oh, that's awesome.
This platform grows, and then the young one, maybe he might be interested in knowing what is happening.
And sustaining and taking it forward.
Exactly. So with teams, we really need teams to move.
Exactly.
We really need teams to move. So with this platform, there's that watches.
Of course.
That watches, those people are very important.
Of course. They
are very important because we create and establish content for them to consume.
To be able to consume.
The very same people are the people that we want to push towards attending a festival.
I know.
Festival. Get 24 September.
Of course.
All of them, they need to be there at the venue.
Yes.
Bathenga amatikiti Computicket, bathenga amatikiti Computicket nase-Shoprite online
exactly.
And then on the description of this episode sizayifaka naphayana.
Okay, nice.
And also kwi-post edit sizayifaka ne-poster bayibone and all the details bakwazi ukubona exactly this is what we are talking about.
Of course.
So Mhlekazi, ndiyabulela kakhulu makhe sifumane ubhunyaniso asapha kule hot seat. Makazaba COO siyamcela simcela apha kule seat. Rodman, I feel like ngathi ndiyakwazi ngenxa kabrother wakho.
Hayi ngandakhe ndakubona nam kwiindawo ezininzi.
Let's hope ubone endaweni right.
Hayi indawo wrong.
Ewe. Kunjani Rodman?
Ndiyaphila njalo nabathi.
Kuhle bhuti man. Kuhle. This has been a long time coming. This has been a long time coming. Uzingce kudala manje egqitha kwizi-spaces. Kwanita then Lethabo. Bekunyanzelekile. So wena Mhlekazi, mna ndazi brother yakho. So ndicela uzazise nje kancinci uthi chatha.
Nyaniso xinwa. Ndakuzalwa eMdantsane. Ndakhulela eMalindi. Ngoku ndisehlala eBhongweni ngoku.
Okay.
Run operations akaZingce. Tshepo nabanye abantu beteam. Unyaka wethu wesithathu ngoku sisenza bigger kodwa ngoku siqale kancinci. Senza into enkulu ngoku.
Okay. If you can break down role yakho to someone who wants to know eligama likhulu libizayo lika COO, what does it mean phakwa Zingce? Wenza ntoni kanye kanye?
Akho nto ndingayenziyo kodwa xa iseyishow mna uba kukho umntu omela edirecte imoto ndizoba khona ukuncedisa nge-artist ndizoba khona benze uba zityile zifika ngexesha yonke into uthula umthwalo wabanye abantu kodwa nam ndikhangela abantu bandincedise kulena nto ndiyenzayo ze-daily operations uba yonke into ihamba kakuhle njengokuba izinto ze-artist mela zibe right before bafike kwalapha umntu ingafika kuthiwa i-artist istakhe ngapha e-airport ayikwazi ufika kanye enye istakhe endaweni yamela ndiyenze sure ngalaa mini uba ii-artist zikhona zonke ezo zinto
nemali lapha kuwe nemali kaZingce lapha kuwe
hayi ayikho konke yonke
ayikho kuwe yonke okay Mhlakazi umbuzo obalulekileyo ndifuna ukubuza kuwe yintoni oyibona ibalulekile by being involved in a project of this nature? What gives you that pride?
Pride kumani but ukuqala nento eqaleni because kudala ngibana ndisenza izinto apha napha eMonti kanti bana usezinkulu lena into endifuna ukukhula nayo nabantu balapha because yeyona into ezifuna because uyathanda uhoya ezinye provinces Eastern Cape ine-artists ezinzi lonto ziyamka kwalapha zingaperform ngoba uJohn Sibhedwa uyaqala ubuya emva kweminyaka emingaphi siyambuyisa thina
ngiyambuyisa
nayo uyavuya uba ubuyela province yakhe.
That is good. So masingene kuye straight uSimphiwe Dana, whose idea was it to bring uSimphiwe Dana to this year's Zingce Arts Festival?
Tshepo le
wena wayisupporta le idea?
I support because ndingayazi naba ndifuna abantu udala sibana siphikisana ngaleyo
ibingoba nezinye artists beze on the cards on your side
kwelamu bangane sakhule eMalinda sonke omtsaki umsaki wayelapha nje across istrato nabanye nje ansabakhumbula kwankonke
but ya end up nguSimphiwe Dana
waphele winner yena uSimphiwe Dana.
Okay so ukuthetha naye uSimphiwe Dana unjani uziva njani ngoba i-part and parcel of this
angathethi mina naye senguTshepo thethe naye
senguyothetha naye wena usambona nje pha
ansambona pha nguyeke ne communication naye isikakhulu
ngabo bane communication naye but amalungiselelo wona for the 24th ahamba kahle noko
ahamba kahle akho umuntu ozostaka xa ngosifuna upusha nje amatikiti abantu bathenga abantu balana
bawathenga amatikiti
bathenga amatikiti ugcwale because Monday i-holiday anyways so Sunday abantu bayathanda uphuma Sundays and akho nto yenzekayo ngala weekend so abantu ba free mabeza hayi ke Mhlakazi ndiyakuva Mhlakazi bangakubambi kakhulu ndiyakubona umbongo awuthandi ncam thanda basemva
awuthandi ncam
ndingobhuti umepa emva kwecamera
hayi ke ndiyakuva man ngoku masibize uLethabo finally izaphe sithini sifuna wena apha sithini by the way Voyagers, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being part of this platform, which is the Tourism Podcast. Siyanibulela for taking your time and watching each and every episode that we take out. This episode, we are shooting it Elahleni, eQuigni, Caxton, I believe it's number 119 up eQuigni. Nize apa guys, nizotya apa, ukutya kukhona, kumnandi, and Lethabo, come true. Come true. And by the way, takuphuma le episode on Thursday, I believe Elahleni kuthengisa ugeme ngoLwesine. So guys, come by Elahleni. Lethabo.
Mr. Mashexa.
Yes man, yes. Hey, we hustler. Yes. We hustler.
Utama ndifukuze se.
Yafuneka lonto le. And ndiyabona ngo you're making waves.
I'm trying bit by bit. You see.
Why you Zingce? Out of all things, why you Zingce? Ungathethi kuba umphathe lapha.
Okay, Zingce, from the name Zingce. Like kum yaba different because I'm always the kind of person ohleli at different osecaleni ohlele phuma yedwa because I have my own ways. Dinalanto ba mandizingce ngobumna ngalendlela ndiyiyo. If I'm a weirdo, mandizingce ngobuweirdo bam, ne? And then Zingce came along, and Zingce came with an opportunity ukuthi abantu bazi expressing. As I'm one of the artists, like I'm a poet. So ndaya phayana ndinalonto okay fine, I'm a poet. Man get nami ndo volunteer. I started off as a volunteer kwaZingce. So fine, no problem. And then I found that but Zingce, I'm not dissing any other organizations, but it's different because akataka brainwashi and akatati oba since Lethabo a city heritage is this, it should be this, a culture is this, but it's giving you a platform oba redefine your culture and heritage your own way that suits you, that is good for you, because we can be both Xhosas, but ubuXhosa bam bungamini the same thing that means to you. So allow me to express that through music, through drawing, through acting, through singing. Let me be me, let me be more defiant to the society while I am being me, while I am being African. Hence I was like, okay fine, this is something that I could work with. So I worked my way out to be where I am today.
Yeah, now you're at the top, you're working with people on the ground. How is that? How is that going for you?
I wouldn't lie and say it's easy. It just needs umuntu osho ngento ayifunayo, like he should be dedicated and it should be something that you love. Because some days like you feel like questioning yourself about why am I doing this? Because you don't deal with people who have the same mentality as yours. You don't deal with people who have the same vision as yours. You have to sell it to them. You have to be persistent and you have to keep on doing the good work. And most of all, you need to be professional at all times. If you figure go smash in the team now, okay, smash, I need you to be volunteer today. So says reporting, handing out flyers on I have to take that. That's how you feel. It's fine. I won't force you, but that won't stop me from going to Jola and approach Jola. Okay, Jola, we need people like you, and at the end of the day, you're gonna find yourself having a beautiful team. For example, Izolo, most people about connect social media. I had the first group, sends activation. It was amazing.
I saw that. It was crazy.
It was crazy. It was amazing because we were all tourism students. Now I'm a former tourism student. I graduated for a diploma, advanced diploma actually, of tourism. So seeing them having that energy and everything reminded me, because I'm that one person who's always energetic. My first year I was given a nickname because I'm energy. Because wherever I am, whether I know you or I don't know you, I'll just bring that energy. I'll just smile, I'll just laugh, I'll just talk to you, I'll just make conversation. I don't need a topic to make conversation. I don't need anything. I'll just be there and just be me. So finding people who were the same, because it was the first time seeing each other, all of us, all 6 of them, but all of them, they were brilliant. So you see, we had the same and common goal, which is to promote Zingce. And we all knew what we need to do, and we just blended. It's about a team, which is something I always pray for, but bit by bit, I am getting there. And with coaching from Tshepo and the rest of the team, because I'm the youngest and I'm the new one in the team, bit by bit, I'm slowly getting there, bit by bit.
One thing I can say is that you love this baby. Lethabo nagged me about this thing. Tshepo, she really nagged me about this. It's like, please. She started last year. Even last year nagged me. And that time was like, there was a whole lot that was happening. And that time in podcast, I was like, hey, man, now we're trying to find structure, but this year, she made sure. I remember there was a day where I was talking to her on the phone. I still remember that day. And she added you on that. Do you remember that?
Please don't do that.
She added you on that call. Man.
Me like this?
Lethabo is one thing I know. On Lethabo, when she wants something, she makes sure she gets it. She makes sure she gets it. I'm sure a whole lot of people don't understand you.
Yeah, that is very true. I'm a very hard book to read.
But one thing that stands out about you is the fact that if you are after something, you make sure that you get it.
Yeah, I try by all means.
Yeah.
Fire by force.
And actually, with events, that is important because we get disappointed,
Yes.
and we always get into spaces where, you know what? Actually, in anything, where you feel like, you know what? As give up. I was like, you know what? I see the podcast. But look where we are now. Look where we are, because at some point you need to find your adapter to situations.
Yes.
Yabo? So udinga londo leyo kuba ungumntu uhleli nje uyazi reinventa. If your current version iyoyiswa zii-problems, that means you are weaker. Grow and become someone ozakwazi umelana nezazinto.
Yes. Always go back to the drawing board. Qale phansi, ulungise, fix yourself and be honest with yourself. And another thing that abantu don't want is criticism. I take criticism very serious, whether it's lucrative, whether it's good, whether it's positive or white. Like when Nyata or white, Marana, I always appreciate it. Because you'd never criticize me and coin. You'd never say Lethabo is slacking, whereas I'm doing good. Really, if there's a loophole, there's gonna be something to talk about. So let me fix all those holes. Let my walls be strong. So a criticism, I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, that's good. Then must be lapha kuZingce now.
Yes, please.
Zingce Simphiwe Dana, 24 September. What can people expect?
All I can say is expect nothing less than the best. This is gonna be an experience that I will never forget. It's a pity that you cannot take experience with you. You cannot put it in the bag. But it's gonna be the best feeling because you're gonna be bringing your Simphiwe Dana. It's going to be performing for the first time in 10 years. And then it's not just to Simphiwe Dana. There are many more artists that are going to be there that are going to be great. I'm not going to reveal them, so you're going to get your tickets so that you can see them. There's going to be food stalls also. You're going to get a chance to taste different types of food. And since it's Heritage Day, some of the foods are going to be like traditional foods. Mkhodu, yabo, and umngqusho. You see, things like that. So for the 24th of September, it's nothing but the best.
It's nothing but the.
It's the start of the best things that are still gonna come for Uzingce. We're still going high. We're coming strong this time around. We're not backing down. Yes.
I'm loving the spirit. And then the venue. Tata banda bangapi the venue. How many tickets are you selling in total?
Tickets, the venue can accommodate I think plus minus 3,000 people. Yes. So the aim for the tickets, we want something close to 3,000 to 5,000. But I stand to be corrected. I'm not sure, but it's 3,000 for the venue or 5,000. But for the tickets, it's 3,000 to 5,000. That is the aim that we're aiming for. The people that we want to the event.
Are they buying them at the moment?
So far, so good. But we're still looking forward to more people to keep on buying. But so far, they have not disappointed.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
They should buy the tickets, guys. This is a unique concept. And funny about this concept, I put me in my radar. Juanita, you, and then I was like, okay, and then I had to sit down and pay attention to it.
Yes.
So the 24th of September, people should attend the festival. They should buy the tickets, and then they should be there at the festival. So, what is the perception of the people listening to Binanabo so far? Geng festival.
So far,
are they positive?
So far, people are positive, but a lot of people that I've met with are the people that don't know anything about the Zingce Arts Festival. They've never been there. But because of the concept, because of the people of Uzingce, they are interested. To an extent that, because you're going to also be having family activities. You're going to have a kids' corner. Since it's a long weekend, you're going to be accommodating the kids. So most people will find them saying, okay, fine, I can't go because I have a kid. Like, no, we've got that sorted. We already thought about it. We're going to have a kids' corner for your kids. They're going to be there and everything. So you find them being like, how has it ever been like that? Like an art festival, having a kids corner, accommodating kids, like having family packages, like there's just something. So let us say this. So because of the uniqueness of it, it's selling itself. So far, I've only received positivity from everyone.
Okay. So now, something that is serious.
Yes.
Esinoyithatha for granted, ne?
Yes.
Igunubi secaleni, ne?
Yes.
Someone ongazange waya egunubi before. How could you direct them? Ubana ngaba baya njani egunubi? Okanye, are there any provisions for transport for abantu abafuna uya egunubi on that day?
We're still on that. We're still talking about that. We did. Tshepo did mention that he was thinking that we should do something like having a transport for everyone, like whereby people are going to pay a certain fee, and then transport picks up everyone in the same spot in a certain time, and then take them back again, depending whether people are going to leave right after the event, because it ends at 8. So other people will want to go for after party things and everything. Others will want to go straight back home. That will be communicated between the driver and the passengers. But we are still on that, so I don't want to say much about it. But we thought about that because of the location, because really Kunube is a bit far. And when you're taking Bolt, it's also extremely high.
It was during the busy times.
Exactly.
The minute it gets busy, Bolt unala uyayithanda imali Bolt. The minute it gets busy, ne prices nazo ziyenyuka.
Yes.
Yeah. Ne prices ba busy. But xa kuba busy, ne prices ba. If there is that, at least if there is that provision in place.
Yes, we're working on it, and then we're going to push on the socials about it to be everyone posting about it.
Now ngicela uGutsebo for the last time sivale. The last part is valid. Sisheka no 5 minutes. It's valid. Yeah. Now Mhlekazi, the last part.
Okay, right.
The last part, Mhlekazi. Kunezinto that needs to be cleared.
Okay, Putwa.
That day kunalo muntu usuka eMdantsane, kaye lo muntu usuka kuQoboqobo. Imkhingu lemstown okanye eBhayi.
Yeah, but
okhwele ibhasi ongazazibuza yanjani phaya. What plans do you have in place for those people?
Look, as Lethabo mentioned, right, that is something that we're dealing with right now. In terms of there's the associations, actually, just I don't want to divulge much, right? A taxi association was born about how can we work something, as Lethabo said, I can work something out whereby there's going to be a common spot where people are going to be picked up by the circular event, then but then without inconveniencing them of getting back to their mode of transportation going back home. That is something we're working on. But it's not something that Anfunma Kutwa we are actually trying to work on it, because right now, look, as much as we have created this platform, we need to be cognizant of what is happening. Right? To an extent whereby, without even divulging, and time to it means is Bolt is someone that we're working closely with, and then I just suggested, but no, guys, if don't. But at that time, they didn't have the package to say about okay, look, and we cannot interject. Let's say for City Kutua, because of event that is happening, Stella discount for Bandbet. You know what I mean? They don't have such packages right now. You know, the package that they have, oddly though, or surprisingly, and beautifully for that matter, is Leogba, because it's an NPO from Zekelo. There's the organizing aspect of things. You're going to be able to get nobody polterized in. They're going to be what do you call this, discounted to an extent whereby even is something that you could give to the artists, especially the up-and-coming ones, to be able to travel with that aspect of things, of traveling back and forth to the event, discounted. But then lucky enough, Kengogo, as much as there was that off on the table, we were graced with the presence of Haval. Yes. Good. Which is going to provide such to artists, be able to move them back and forth to the event. But more importantly, there's another one we're trying to get on board, which could be finalized by Tuesday, Wednesday. Is also going to offer the same. But a challenge Kwangoko and Butamas Siphesihle is getting that communicative deal of getting people which ideally wouldn't be able to get there and back to the comfort of where they can find their mode of transportation. But that is something we're looking into. But hopefully by the end of the week we'll have an answer for someone who have such a question.
Okay. That's good. So as we stand, everything for the festival is ready. into eshotayo kushoda abantu bathenga
Ticket, yes, definitely. Well, there's maybe nitty-gritty things that we take care of, and yes, but let's say we are 90% ready, right? Short time is but otherwise, the only thing that is left that is 120% appropriate to say tickets. Let's get the tickets, let's get the tickets, let's support the event. There's a lot that is going to happen. I mean, if there's one thing that we always emphasize is the diversity of Uzing. You know, is a music festival. It is not a music festival, it's an arts festival.
Yeah. It's
more than that. It's a diversification of the arts and even hence the ticket price, you know. So the diversification of offerings between different arts backgrounds, as I said, including there's 5 of them, you know, including visual arts, including literature arts. Khona umuntu obhala incwadi, is an author coming on board, into njalo naye is going to stand. And by the way, there's also that element of food stalls. There's also that element of craft stalls. We have that. So if people are really also interested to have their foods there, you know, follow our page. All the information is there. If people still want to be part of the craft stalls, follow our page. But the information is there, you know. And there's a question that you asked, I think, in the clarity in terms of the capacity. But as much as our target might be 3,000 to 5,000 people, right? But the capacity of the place is 10,000. Okay. 3,000 or 5,000 people on a 3,000 capacity place. No, the capacity is actually 10,000 capacity. Okay. But we want to be realistic in our numbers, you know. As much as we say 3,000 now, we hope to attain it. But if the God's open, we can have 5,000, that would be great. But whatever number we're going to attain, it's a number that we're going to appreciate, because whatever support that we get from the people is support that we treasure.
That's important. Okay, Mhlakazi, what are your last words?
The last words that we have with regard to Elahleni for the Zingce Arts Festival for the 24th, I think first and foremost is just to thank you for the platform. And everyone who's involved, you know what I mean, to making it happen. We greatly appreciate such platforms. For us mean a lot, because it gives us space to be able to you know, a platform like this enables you to articulate. I'm not talking about just advertising and marketing and promotion aspect of it. It enables you to articulate. So whoever's going to see this will understand about Zingce. There's people who have seen us promoting Zingce, but they were not planning on coming. But after seeing such a thing, and after seeing the articulation what Zingce is, they are going to probably come and support it, and even further support the artists, because they are seeing Lethabo is just not a self-centered project. It's a project that LCD has the interest of not only the artists but even the surrounding communities at heart. So if there's one thing that I want people to get from this is, or the 3 things. Firstly is the thank you from our side, and the articulation of what Zingce is and the support of it. And we support Zingce by what? By buying tickets and also supporting the aspiring artists we're going to find there, Pago Zingce. And also one more thing that we need to also remind people of. Zingce is also a family-based festival. We are going to have things like family children's corner. We are going to have things like, actually from tomorrow we're introducing a concept of family packages, you know, because if there's one thing that we spoke, teamwork, we love them. That's why I love teams. There's certain things that when you do things, maybe they need 3, you'll overlook, and then somebody will come and say, man, hi guys, you know. So from last week, something that we started working on, guys, a long weekend, I would like to come to Zingce, but Nabantwan. Because I wanted to go to Zingce. So from that game, we're limiting a lot of people to coming, because families are very important, and families are the cornerstone of anything that we do, especially up in Mont, you know what I mean? So you want to have a kiddies corner, you want to have the by family, mama no tata, but enjoy the festivities of Zingce while they know that the children are safe and they're playing on the outside. So there is 2 things that are going to happen. Is we are going to have families packages, but more importantly, we are going to have a kiddies corner. But yes, enjoy the festivities of the day with your children playing there safe.
Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again for the platform.
Guys out there who are watching at home, thank you very much for watching this podcast. Uzingce uzile walapa. Bazo explain unpack everything. So what is left, Kuni guys, is to go to your nearest Computicket, a ShopRite, even online, buy the tickets and be there, fill the venue. And if we came back early on that day, not we are attending, but there's a trip that we're going away in Hogsback to also shoot the podcast. But if we figure early, we will definitely see you there. Buy the tickets, guys. Let's support one another. This is a very great initiative. It just needs your support. Thank you.